What's a good starting topic?
Disney.
Now it's just awkward. Now it's just
Now-
awkward.
Isn't that the story of my life?
Flow's gone.
Hey, you set the mood
The
and
flow's
now it's
gone.
gone.
You should have just let it record, man, and not said anything. Now I don't feel like talking.
Oh shit! It's
Call
been a
my
minute,
lawyer.
boys.
It's been a few minutes.
Few minutes.
Let's just blame Robbie.
Yeah, it's all Robbie's fault.
Actually, it's all Robbie's fault.
Ryan, you had to go to India.
And then
Yeah.
then at one point I had to go to India in December.
I went to Florida.
Yes.
Where else did we go?
I just started my own podcast. I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna.
So they just started his own.
I offered to record from India, by the way.
You can barely get a friggin' good mic going here. Hold on, why are you using your headset mic right now? What happened to your mic that you paid for?
But this works. Like, it works.
Yeah, but we all bought the same mics.
You're not using it either.
I am. I'm using the new mic. It's right here.
Oh.
What do you think I was using?
Okay. I thought you were using one of your AirPods.
I'm using it as headphones.
Okay. Well, you can hear me, so F off. Both of you. I'm tired. I'm so tired.
It's January 3rd. Everyone's just getting back from like the most rested vacation break of the year. Why are you tired?
These because I was busy through like the break with like family stuff and events. So now I'm catching up on TV.
Just talking? Well, what's the show about? It's about nothing. It's about nothing.
Just want these guys to know you got another thing coming, bitch. I'm still around.
So you guys were celebrating
Priorities.
Christmas?
No, you're not allowed to do that.
What color pug were you wearing? Red or green? I need to know. What color pug were you rocking? Or none at all? You
none at
friggin'
all.
Panthic money.
Yeah, my
Not
box
even-
is red and green. Does that count?
I feel like that was a harsh H on the munna when you said it. Monet. That was an
Money.
insult.
No.
We don't get the pass anymore. There's no more like Monday
No.
Monday are no
No,
longer
yeah.
cool.
That
Yeah.
Mona pass has
No
been
more.
quickly retracted, and you guys have lost all. Like you can't even say Yanni no more. It's completely like derogatory now when you say it.
Hmm.
You've lost it. That generation
Friggin-
turned it off,
Yanni, what are you saying, Yanni?
man. high school
I haven't heard that in
PTSD kicking
years.
in.
No, I know.
Yeah, high school PTSD. You know what the weirdest one was though? Is I was a lot older. This was like before marriage, but post uni. I was visiting with some of my cousins out in Surrey, and they're like, "Yo, Shinda's a Genny though. Shinda, you don't eat meat." I'm like, "What? What you?" You felt so weird when my cousin pulled. I was like, "Huh? We're still saying that? It's 2012."
Yeah.
Maybe my ignorance. I never thought it was an insulting term.
It became one much later. Just Rain really triggered it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm not a Genny. I'm just a guy. Well, he made that song, and everyone's like, "Yeah, man."
Yeah, but there was a sentiment like before that on man, what was that forum? Sick
Sangit, sick awareness.
Sangit, yeah, Sick Sangit. Yeah. There were lots of many threads on that ancient ass forum. Man, forums were the shit back in the day.
Forums were pre-Twitter.
Yeah.
Pre-Reddit?
No, yeah,
Reddit's like
pre-Reddit.
a forum, isn't it?
Reddit took off after forums because Reddit made it easy for everyone to create their own forum. Before Reddit, everyone had to like launch a website, install the software, run it, pay a monthly fee, and then Reddit's like, "Hey, what if we made one master forum, and everyone could make their own little sub forum within it?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, that's a bomb."
So why is Gyanya, once again, ignorant? Why is it
Ignorant. It's not so much that
Why
it's
is
a
it a...
bad term; it's that it's a
Yeah.
term of reverence. And then when we use it disparagingly to use it on anyone with a bug, it kind of loses that.
Is it kind of like when like
When
people
now-
call Sikhs, when they call them Sardarjis? Is the same kind of...
No. So Daji still used pretty positively, right?
It's like I
I thought it
guess
was kind of
this
derogatory.
isn't really on point, but like you know how like Gore guys say your father when they refer to the priest? It's like a term of reverence.
Yeah.
Like they can't just go go along to anybody who goes to Sunday church and be like, your father, your holiness,
I see what
right?
you're saying. Okay.
So it loses that charm or that reverence
The
when
weight.
you say,
Okay.
"Yo, ganda gyani," right?
Well, yeah, I guess that defines it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, we're losing the pass. We can no longer, the Panthic Mona charm is gone.
Yes.
We can't celebrate Christmas.
I mean, I never
Because
really
it's-
went to celebrate Christmas because I'd never been to Sunday mass to begin with.
Do you
What do you mean by okay? Wait,
Christmas tree?
one
Do
second.
you do
Let's.
Christmas tree?
We do have a tree, yeah,
You celebrating Christmas, bro?
You celebrate Christmas.
and we did gift exchanges.
Yeah, you celebrate
Not on the
Christmas.
Celebrating
25th.
Christmas. That doesn't matter.
Oh,
Secret
that does
Santas.
not matter. Yeah, that doesn't matter.
Our kids are just like, give us whatever you buy. I'm like, here.
But do we don't treat it like religion, right? It's just
No.
a season.
For me, it's nothing more than Halloween, really. I decorate for Halloween, also dress up for Halloween.
That's good analogy.
You know what I
You guys
mean?
sleep on the floor though?
Nah, I did for a while when I was a teenager.
No. During this month,
No,
What was the question? I missed the
Purple.
question.
did you sleep on the floor?
purple Shahidi month. I was talking to some
Oh.
guy, and I was talking like some, and they're like, honestly,
Hey.
we never even heard of it. They're like, this is something new that y'all talking
This
about.
is,
They're
I
like,
think this is new, like Diwali and versus
So hold
Monday
on.
Short.
So what is
Monday
this?
show, yeah.
Why do you have to sleep on the floor?
So the Shabzade. So the way that people said it was like, and this is the month where the Shabzade get displaced from Guru Gobind Singh Battle of Chumkot, and
Yes. Okay.
so they're like at that time because the Shabzade were sleeping on a floor where they got captured. That our elders used to sleep on the floor during this month because it's one of the just to commemorate the roughness and toughness of the month.
I slept on the floor at Pearson. Does that count?
No.
On your way to vacation? No.
On his way to
On
Orlando.
the way back. On the way back to get my luggage. Yeah. We landed. We came back. One, they didn't have a gate for us. It was a 3-hour hold in the plane. So sat on the tarmac for about 3 hours. This was 2 a.m. Yeah, got like a deplaned or deboard or whatever it's called at 5. Got through customs. Arrived at the arrivals area wherever you pick up your baggage collection. And about 45 minutes later, a guy on the PA goes, "There's no one back there." You guys are gonna have to wait till. Unfortunately, there's no one back in the luggage area due to the weather. It was the day of the storm,
Oh, okay.
and they go, the first person's gonna come. I don't know. They said 7 a.m. So, we were offered the ticket to come back the next day. I already seen the Twitter. I was like, I'm not gonna come search my bag. I'll just wait it out. So, yeah, me and the
Did you get your
kids
bags?
ended up slept on the floor because we all passed out. Got our bags at 10 a.m. So it took that long for the bags to come out. So just waited it out and yeah, got them and left. But
How old's your youngest?
was-
For
2 years old. But they were
Okay.
out, man. They were passed
I
out. So
couldn't do that. I had to be like, this trip is done. We're going home.
I was about to make the call, but I was like, I didn't want to come back. I was like, I ain't gonna come back and get those
They
bags.
would end up delivering it to you.
No, they said that, and there had been on Twitter, people have been waiting for like 16 days, and I saw the haul at the airport. I'm like, this is not getting organized. There's bags everywhere. I'm like, there's not even anyone here. And then one of the guys from the back came. I'm like, yo, what's going on? He goes, sir, you don't understand how cold it is outside. I'm like, no, I know how to read temperature. I can understand. He goes, we can't work in this. I'm like, have you heard of Winnipeg? And he just looked at me. I'm like, it's colder in Winnipeg, and I'm sure the airport's still functioning. So literally, supposedly the union had come in and told the workers to stop working the long hours, and that's why there was nobody there. So
Unions, eh?
Yo,
unions,
it was
man.
cold. You're so heartless. man.
Come on.
You're
I don't
it
care.
was
That's
cold.
a joke.
Should be
I didn't
coming
pay
up.
all that money. I
Go
didn't pay all
ahead.
that money and get priority baggage, not to get my baggage, right?
Wild times.
Oh, that sucks.
But yeah,
Dude.
so,
Pearson was a mess for me too. I landed, and they had 2 conveyor belts for my flight. 2.
Yeah, that happened to me.
It made no sense to me.
No, ours
They started
switched.
coming out from one. No, they started coming out at one, and then they stopped without any rhyme or reason, and the other one started. So everybody, like 300 people, shift to the other one. Bags started coming out, then it stopped, and the original one started up again, and that started spitting out bags. It was chaos.
It's chaos. So we took a stroller. We took it to the gate, and obviously you get it off. You get the stroller right after you leave. The captain just came out. You guys ain't getting your strollers today. Just go and it'll be at the baggage. Everyone says okay, so they leave. So I didn't have a stroller, mind you. During this whole time, we have a double stroller, so the kids could sleep. Get to the stroller area. Obviously, it doesn't come until 10 a.m. But I kept going back every hour, periodically. Possibly someone had the decency to get it off the plane. If you've seen those sections at the baggage collection, it's just I guess like a track or just a shelf. That room was filled that you couldn't. There was strollers on strollers, maybe 4 strollers high, 5 strollers high. And I asked the guy, I'm like, how are people gonna? He goes, he just shrugged his head and kept tossing more strollers on top. I just
that's not my
walked away.
problem.
I'm like,
That's not my problem.
yeah, that's essentially what it was. Like, I don't know what to do, man. Because the whole night, people had been yelling at him. But the 2 guys at the baggage claim for Air Canada, man, they were just ripping people. They're just yelling back. People yelling at them. They're just yelling back. They're like, I don't get paid enough for this and blah, blah, blah. It was interesting, man. It was interesting what happens when, airports don't function. I mean,
No labor solidarity from this guy, eh?
none. No, this is, come on. Snow can't be a reason an international airport.
Well, at
isn't
least
able
flights
to-
are coming in and out. Vancouver shut down because of snow. And they were in
fine,
touch
fine if they're not used to it, but surely someone made preparations. Surely someone thought, okay, we should have extra staff, or this might happen. If you have planes taking on and off, clearly you have the best weather tracking in the entire country, better than us, right? Surely you can figure this out.
I'm sure the person whose job it is to do all that kind of management decided that, hey, this time is usually a shit show. I'm taking my vacation during this time.
So was it Sunwing pilots or was it a WestJet pilot? Just didn't show up to work because he thought it was going to snow. So the flight got canceled.
all the time.
No, like, what does that tell you, right? Like, it's gonna get canceled. I'm gonna just stick at home. So,
But then they blame the pilot.
no, I remember in the UK when I was coming home one year, they had that, a little bit of snowstorm, whatever we would call a snowfall. They called it a snowstorm. The whole airport shut down. Heathrow. No one was in baggage claim. They were just piling up. It took them weeks to get the bags back or organized. And I'm like, I understand. It's London. It's not common to have a snowstorm. Toronto? Not an excuse, man. Come on. And when I got outside, I'm like, what's everybody complaining about? It wasn't that much snow.
I love the
Maybe wind.
I love this 1% of life where
I don't care. Was it as bad as the news had said? I landed in the plane, so my assumption was no.
there was a bit of ice for like a few hours the next day, but then by the time it was salted, it was all good.
Yeah, this winter's been blessed so far.
And now all the snow's gone and there is no winter. I had plans for this weekend to go snowboarding, and that just completely got wiped out because I'm like, look, man, it's just gonna be slushy out there.
I've never been to Vancouver, but is this what Vancouver feels like in the winter?
Yes.
What we're experiencing? That's amazing.
What's amazing though is Vancouver gets this kind of rainy 5 to 8 degrees every winter, and then if they want to enjoy the snow and go like be winterish, they take a 3-hour drive to Whistler, or even like an hour drive to Gross, and at the top of the mountain, everything's perfect.
How is it in Collingwood right now? I'm sure there's a lot of snow up there.
Apparently not. Apparently it's just slush.
Oh well. Well,
Yeah. So
maybe catch a flight
we veered way off topic. Robbie
just takes topics over. This guy's so busy.
somehow he made the
he said
Shahidi of
talk about
our
sleeping.
out
So
saying
I feel like I paid my dues. I slept on the floor.
This
So
guy
I'm back to that.
This guy just has so much to say right now. This guy's gonna turn every single topic about himself on his vacation.
Oh yeah, well that's what I do. That's what I do in life. It's all about me. It's all about me.
I respect the Shahidi of the Jar Sabjade, but my vacation.
Yeah, let me get into this first. You thought they had it tough. I went through Pearson.
I slept on the ground at Pearson.
Not even did I have to sleep on the. Not even did I have to sleep.
I don't know.
I didn't even
know
get
other
my
people's
bags.
problems, but I got problems. All right. All right. So no, let's go back to that. Explain it to me, because what's the significance of sleeping on the floor? Is it ritualistic? Is it religious? What is it? I don't.
No, it's
I've
not
never heard of
religious.
this.
It's more just. What's the thing that Christians do where they give up? Is it Lent?
Lent.
Lent. Okay.
Yeah,
So
so-
kind of.
It's kind of Lent-like, where it's kind of like,
Now
look,
does the floor material matter? Does it have to emulate or replicate what the Sabjal they slept on to make it authentic, or can it be a hardwood floor with a little bit of bounce, or are we talking about solid concrete?
You're just leaning into this right now, aren't you? So much aggression.
It's been a while.
The whole point
No,
is
that's cool. Hey man, if
to be
that makes you,
uncomfortable.
no, I think that's all right. Like I get if it's like Lent and you find that. Oh, what's the other thing that people do? Not suffering, but they. There's people who whip themselves.
That's
or,
a whole
or
different
try to-
religion, isn't it?
No. I mean the essence of trying to experience some difficulty to feel closer to a certain, historical event or pain or whatever it is. So I can get people doing that. That's or people making pilgrimages, walking. I know they do that in Europe, and yeah, to each his own, man. I don't care. I don't understand it, but good for you.
But anyways, that's what Randy was referring to.
Well,
He
I
was-
was-
Did you guys do
in
it?
general.
You guys are looking at me like I'm evil. Did you guys do it?
I haven't done it.
Or did you sleep in your comfortable king mattresses, which I know you guys probably own?
My mattress is stiff. Okay, you would get a concussion if you jumped on my mattress.
I don't want to be jumping on your mattress or
Yes,
be
you
in your
do.
mattress.
Yes,
let
you
alone his stiff mattress.
A stiff mattress.
Yeah.
But I notice I'm just want to highlight. There's like a I don't know. There's like a shift in the community generally, like going towards a more nostalgic way of life. Yeah, kind of orthodox. And is Amritpal Singh?
I don't think he's
the
responsible
figure-
for it. No, I think he's
No.
a byproduct of it.
What do you mean
Not
by
responsible. I'm
what do
not
you
saying
mean by
responsible,
orthodox way?
but does he embody that?
Yeah, way more than what. So over the last,
Whoa. What do you mean by I'm still. What do you
So
mean by
by
orthodox way?
it's what the Vancouver people like to call fundamentalist.
Okay.
What
That's never
Robbie?
a good word in any conversation, but go ahead.
What basketball? You always want the fundamentals now. You want that
Yes.
fundamental team.
Yeah, we're not talking about Tim Duncan here, but go on. Yes.
If what Robbie would refer to as his Waterloo SSA years. You know, just like that returning of the guard to, here's the Mariada, here's how we should be living our life, and
So you're saying
policing.
you're saying there's been a sudden uptake in more people,
more people
Well,
taking
preaching.
Amrit or Amritari and going that way, or you're saying?
Robbie, let me ask you this: do you know of this Amritpal Singh?
Yes, I do. A little bit. I'm not going to say I know too much. I've seen Twitter. I'll leave it at that. That's as much as I know.
I don't see anything about him on Twitter. I'll be honest.
Not
Whatever
as
Shinda
much.
tends to like pops up on my Twitter. So I mean, if he's liked anything,
He's been seeing him by proxy through my feed, I guess.
there you go.
No, so Amritpal Singh is up and coming preacher, prachadik in India, in Punjab right now. He was living in Dubai earlier, and then he decided to F that lifestyle. He came to Punjab, took Amrit. And I think really what happened was Amritpal Singh used to be on Twitter. He was pretty active on Twitter. He used to be in Twitter spaces, like the Sikh Twitter spaces, the clubhouses on Sikh history. He was very opinionated in those debates. And people used to call him out. They're like, yo, if you're so hardcore, what are you doing in Dubai? You should be in Punjab. What are you doing hiding out in where it's nice and cozy?
And he was always a
And,
Sardar, or
No,
was he
at
a
this time he was a
Mona?
Mona. He was
Like
a
one of
Mona,
us, Robbie. One of us.
right? Chiseled, had the chiseled chest, hair glossed over, spiked hair look, going kind
But a
of.
very, very weird description.
I'm
Now you can
just.
think
I
about
was trying to paint.
chest hair and spiky hair. Oh, okay.
I'm just trying to paint like a very
Masculine
openly,
arms.
very masculine Mona. I'm a guy type image here for you guys. And then in the Twitter spaces and stuff, people would often get offended by some of the things he say because he was somewhat orthodox in his views at that time too. I don't know if there's a better word for orthodox.
So yeah, I'm trying. Like that's the word you guys keep using, Arn.
It's the only word I really know.
What does
for it,
that
'cause
mean?
that's how-
Does that mean just getting back to
back to basics.
the foundations or the pillars of the religion?
Yeah,
Or
I
are you
think
talking
so.
about a certain way of living your life with
No,
kind of newfound structures and new way of thinking, like saying, okay, this is the only way we can do
The only
things.
way I can explain to you that you'd probably best relate to it is Waterloo SSA, right? It's like
That's a
this
straight, like he's just talking down on Munna there. Did you hear that? The only way I can explain that you could understand. You hear that? I've heard those lines before. Let's go
me
on,
dumb it
Shanda. Go
down.
on.
So-
Let
so-
me dumb it down for me.
So exactly like it was for you back in Waterloo SSA in the early 2000s. or mid 2000s. That's what.
I was vice president. I was vice president. I was
Oh, they really let him one night, eh? I have to have a talk with some of these guys.
first year without a vote.
Oh, and then they voted you out because they realized, hey,
Oh, 100%. I should have never been there.
yeah. So yeah, it's like kind of a return to our roots. Like this is how things should be. Why are you guys doing it this way? Why are you guys celebrating Christmas? What does this have to do with us? Why are you wearing socks at the Bad Hall type thing? Just kind of like a return to this is how, and it's always been the way I was taught Sikhi, and kind of this is how the right way. And Ranji kind of by proxy ended up learning it via that way. But then
there was a period of more targeted. Is it more targeted to Sikhs that are already Orthodox, people who are Amritpal and saying, well, you guys are swaying, you guys need to come back? Or is it just a general brush on everybody saying, hey, we're a bit lost?
It's a general brush on everyone saying we're a bit lost. And yeah, so the early 2000s, we had this, I don't even want to go left, right, but we were on this side of how Sikhi we think should be preached, practiced. And then throughout time, we got really lax. We saw the polka dot bugs take over the fancy, partying, and it's okay to be a Singh and go to a party and get lit as long as you do your nickname. And then we ended up on this side.
What's wrong with the polka dot bug?
I mean,
actually, I can't stand looking at a polka dot bug.
I'm just saying, we went from we were here, we swung here from especially from the 80s. So we had 80s Singhs. Then in the 90s, we kind of
needs to come back. Okay.
So then the pendulum shifted way too far up in the right. And now we're kind of right back in the middle. And now, obviously, we're a little bit more on this side. And we'll probably settle in the middle again in a few years. But there was definitely this tone shift over the past few years. And now we're and it kind of coincided with the tone shift throughout the world. The world has really gotten shifty in certain areas. The Andrew Tates and all that kind of stuff took place. And now that's cool. There's just this weird back and forth in thinking. So yeah, Amritpal's thing is kind of, and he's really targeting more than his whole thing is, hey, I used to be just like you guys, and we need to get off this. We need to get off drugs. We need to stop drinking. We need to find our roots. We got to stop being these come to Sikhi, and it's doing wonders. He really is. He's holding camps where he's rescuing guys who are just addicts and stuff and trying to get them on the path.
Ranji, when you going?
I did not see him when I was in India.
I told Ranji he should, and Ranji's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Ranji's like,
I'm actually tired of the, getting talked down to. Is like, well, next time I see you, you better be Amritpal. He's like,
yeah, I've gone a bunch of that.
Yes.
I don't think anyone dares to say that to me now.
Yeah, that's because you've been full on agnostic almost.
What?
They're like, this guy's gone.
Yeah,
He's too far gone.
But he has, just to jump on what you're saying, he now has this thing of going pen to pen and preaching, let's get off drugs and follow Sikhi and follow some basic tenets and adhere to some basic decorum principles in Gurdwara. He's been going around taking out chairs and tables.
I'm okay with that. It's good.
Yeah, to be honest, it's fine. What people don't like there, what people in India don't like, is him being. I guess he strikes an image of Sanjanal Singh on purpose. He really emulates him. On purpose, he tries to show that I follow in his footsteps. Not on the faith way. He doesn't say call me Sant or something, but look the part. He wants to look the part. For example, and then
is that a problem?
It is for India. People who think conjuring up even the image of Sanjanal Singh Prindwal. Even though it might not actually, but just conjuring up the image.
But every Taksali Singh kind of conjures up the image of Sanjanal Singh.
But you can't equate to what the average Taksali Singh does compared to what Amritpal Singh. He actually legit just actually molds his body, everything.
He's doing it, but he's also doing it, and he's
always chaperoned with a bunch of armed guys.
But right? I feel like in India, at some point, if you're going to be doing what he's doing, you're going to need security, no? is armed security really that rare for Prachadak? Starting out, you see
It might,
armed
it
security.
might be trying. It might be trying
I mean,
to just look like. I mean,
without
it might be
that
trying to look like your hero. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's his hero and he thinks it's cool, who cares? I
I
mean,
mean, look, every single thing I knew growing up.
the minute he starts to embody the voice, or embody the teachings, or it's very very close, and then you can kind of be like, all right. And
His
then I can
style of
see
Prachar, his style of Prachar is the same.
Oh, is it okay?
But
Sorry,
it's a
I did not know
charismatic,
that, so-
like, let me speak to people straight. Let me not mask what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
He,
I'm
he,
down
he
with it.
comes
I'm
up,
kinda
he
like
come-
that.
he comes up with these rhetorical arguments that are
No.
very Sanjernal Singh-esque.
Hmm.
And I mean, when questioned on that, he's like, why wouldn't we want to look like someone we idolize like that? He's like,
Yeah.
Sanjay Singh is someone we should all try to embody and be more like.
I do
Why
find
is
it
that
funny
nothing, right?
though. I do find it funny though. There's like I saw an image of him this morning, and he's sitting at a desk with a picture or painting behind him, and the painting behind him is Sanjernal Singh, biggest and center frame of the picture. To the right is Deep Sidhu, and to the left is him.
Hmm.
Right? Like so, he like wants to push that image like I'm the next awakening or the next wave of that, I guess. Which you kind of find is
I
one thing
mean-
trying to embody your hero and follow like their footsteps. The next thing saying like I'm next.
I don't know. I feel like that might be a push. Someone may have made that painting for him and like said, "Hey, look at this," and then
It looked like if he had an office and he had it like center like the fucking
doubt he
US
commissioned
flag
the
behind the
painting.
president.
I doubt he
Yeah, man.
commissioned
As long
that
as
painting. you
the
know what I
minute
mean?
this people start touching his feet, that's when we have a problem. Until then, all good.
I mean, in India, everyone touches everyone's feet.
Hey,
Anyone-
that's a problem.
People dive at
People
everyone's
touch
feet.
my feet, yeah. So
And
Yeah.
it's the Bubba issue.
There's no getting away from that too. You just gotta like just keep moving through it. You can't stop and be like, all right, go at it.
I mean,
There's
if he's
really
if this guy bringing on positive change, then I mean, kudos to
Yeah.
him. I ain't down with the anti-Mona talk, but yeah, it's another.
I mean, he's not really tricking the Mona talk.
I know the way you phrased it. He's
It's-
taking a particular liking to Mona and telling him.
No. He's just like, yo, these Mona need to be brought back to the path. And then he's like, why am I wasting? Why? What? There's enough people doing prachar to Amritadis and to Singhs, but not, no one's really going after these guys. They're neglecting these guys. I'm gonna go after the guys you guys are neglecting. I feel like I can relate to them. More power to them than that.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
I think my own,
But-
and it's always something I've held, and it's something I've talked with a lot of Singhs too. It's kind of like, because I ask everyone I meet, anyone I hold in high regard to a degree, it's, what are your thoughts on Amritpal Singh across Jathabandi and stuff? Like, what do your wood Singhs and people in your circles think? And everyone's kind of said the same thing. They're like, honestly, if he keeps doing what he's doing, great, more power to him. But they're just like, he's got a lot of work to do to, before we give him that clout, because he's still new, right? They're like, we're not holding his past life against him. What he did back when he was a Mona, that's back when he was a Mona. Now he's an Amritari Singh. But they're like, there's a lot to being an Amritari Singh.
That's
worthy
the
of
way to get the
respect,
pass, eh?
right?
first like 5 years is like honeymoon.
Yeah.
It's all new. It's sexy. It's fresh. I use the word sexy on purpose.
Yeah, that
You
was
think
awkward.
what I said was bad? That's okay.
That was awkward.
But then, life settles in. You're forced to make difficult choices. You're kind of tired of your hardline stance.
And like marriage, you realize it was a
Cheese
mistake.
with rennet is just cheese with rennet. Rennet's not a big deal, and you just break a little bit, and one by one attrition takes place, and the next thing you know, you're doing Molly in a club.
I like this slow degradation of
and,
Singhs
and be
in your
called
world.
Yanni. Back to that, right?
I like how full circle.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Full
no,
circle.
so there's just this. There's a lot to go into being able to prove who you are and being able to prove yourself. That takes a while to get to. So everyone's like, we're really happy to see what we're seeing right now. Let's just see where it goes. Has just been the general attitude from a lot of the things I've talked to. So,
That's fair.
and they're like,
Yeah,
and-
I mean, like I said, if it's positive, who cares? I
exactly.
mean,
And yeah,
you
when it comes,
can't hate on that. Who cares?
and then when it's come to
Just hopefully
like,
gets to people like Ranji who really need saving. It's,
saving
he's
from the
around.
Molly.
he's always around these people, but he never joins them. His friends should really question his motives.
He's probably been accused of being an agent more times than anyone, other than just
Yeah.
friends.
He's an agent.
I really
And
do get it.
At this point,
Government
just
banda. That's what he is. Government banda.
You know what it is? Everyone was like government banda, but every Singh I know that when they end up in India, they're like, "Yo, is Ranjit in town?"
Needs those resources, bro.
Randy's like everyone's go-to India resource. Also,
Yeah.
Hey, it's like, hey man, it's like flying first class or business class. You shit on it your whole life, but the minute you do it, you're like, not bad, not bad. I like these
Yeah, I'm
services.
never going back.
I'm never going back.
yeah. Number of times that it's kind of like, "Yo, Randy, when you go to India next?" It's like, if we go to India, we got to plan it around when Randy's gonna be there, just in case we need.
Yeah, boys. March, April. I think now that COVID's done, I'm gonna start going back in. Actually,
Yo,
is it done?
They're saying it's on the rise again in India. So
Yeah. Well, it's on the rise again in China, and then now India.
You food heads are still arguing about COVID. You know that shit's fake, right?
no, I don't want to get stuck there, man. I don't care about the actual COVID. I don't want to get stuck there for 2 months. People have things to do, bro.
Hold on, is COVID fake? Real talk, yes or no? Was it a real problem, or was it just made
Yes,
up?
it's a real
Yeah.
virus. We
Have you
can
s-
detect it. It must be real.
Have you seen it?
Yes, in a microscope, electron
Did-
microscope
but
slide.
have
Not me
you-
myself, but a picture of it.
No. So
It
someone
might not
else-
even be a slide. It might be a digital depiction of something, but I'm gonna assume it's real.
See, this is the problem with the world. We're being bought into these faked digital microscope pictures.
Oh, really? So there's a god? Have you met him?
Yeah, because I just meet them all the time.
Hmm.
I like how you're like going here, go to. Uh,
Like I'm stuck in the middle of mom, dad, don't fight.
Mom, dad.
such a silly argument sometimes, man.
It's always a silly argument.
Anyways,
Always.
man.
Yeah. COVID's on the rise again. But hey, guys, I think I'll be back there March, April ish.
Did you just go?
Yeah.
You
This
are
guy goes-
agent, guaranteed agent.
Yes,
To give you guaranteed, man.
this guy's like got a visa limit, right? So every 6 months he has to go back to renew his Canadian visa.
Are you do you fly Air India or Air Canada?
Usually now because of Direct Air Canada. Before it would be other things like KLM, Lufthansa, yeah.
No.
BA.
in Bachelor of Arts.
You know.
And I wrote up here New Year's. I have no idea what this means. I don't even know how to transition to New Year's. Happy New Year,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Fireworks. Aren't
2023.
you happy to see those
Resolution.
amazing fireworks everywhere? Yeah. Incredible.
At least we were able to cut down on it by like 89%. There was still like one neighbor who was doing patake, but they were very
you
soft.
will. Listen, my friend, you have to wait till Diwali next year. That's when you can make a real judgment
Yeah,
call.
New Year's really wasn't a big firework day.
One, it's cold. Two, the Desis probably couldn't get their fireworks.
But I'm sitting outside in a lawn chair this upcoming Diwali 2023 with 311 on speed dial. And like, I got him. I'm going to be taking pictures and just DMing freaking Patrick Brown. Like, you got to get this address. You got to get this guy. Here's your proof. I'm straight up snitching everywhere.
Yeah, that suits you.
That $500
But,
fine, actually, my neighborhood's not going to get it. But my neighbors are going to love me for being able to snitch on these guys.
No, your neighbors think you're doing it. You're just trying to prevent them from thinking it's you. Yeah.
I'm compensating, but yo, it's not me.
No, Robbie's sorry, Shinda's right though. It did go down quite a bit, like actually noticeable. But let's see, Diwali's gonna be the real test if this is gonna kick in or not.
Well, I mean, I think it'll be the fireworks sales. If you still see fireworks sales everywhere, then you kind of know.
Yeah, exactly,
You know.
exactly.
I feel like the sales are going to be less visible. Those are guys risk a bigger fine.
Yeah, but what's the numbers? 400,000 PRs just came out. Was it today's news? 400,000.
Yeah.
I don't know how many are from India.
But they're PRs, right? That means they've
Been here for a while.
been here for a bit already.
That's just a
Those are
backlog
pro-
getting cleared. That's
Do you
just a
think
backlog
do you-
getting cleared. What do you
Do you
mean
think
they?
most people, the new PRs, I can say they, them. What is it? What am I saying that's wrong?
I don't know, man. Did you ask their pronouns before you got into this?
Well,
Very assumptive of you.
the new permanent residents.
The newly minted Canadians.
Oh, even new students. How do you
not
think they
Canadian.
feel? Has anyone, do they feel like, oh, whatever, yeah, we won't do it next year? Or do they think it's like kind of no?
Do they
like,
even
this
know?
Is what we've been doing.
Real
look, this
question is,
what
do they
we've
even
done every
know?
year. No, but I mean, this is what we've done in our home country. Diwali's a huge thing. We are going to continue to do this.
I think
Fines be damned, right?
Until you get fined.
it's mob mentality. If there's enough of
Yeah.
a mob doing it, then everybody will do it. That's all it is. Especially with this shit. If there's like 1,000 people doing it, then I'm not gonna get caught. Boom.
Then Would you say that to stand up to tyranny, we should be ripping out the fireworks because we're standing up to the man?
Nah.
Let's say it again. I lost that.
You know, a lot
He-
of. Go ahead.
Is it like a defiant act? Like
Is it a
doing the
defiant act to
fireworks
do
anyways?
fireworks?
I don't know. I'm gonna let you go with that. I have no response to that.
Something to defy. I want to be part of the establishment, if anything.
Do you think? Okay, let's try out with that. Too many immigrants?
What?
Uh,
So
You
one
think
of
we've
the.
let in too many?
So what I heard is.
Oh,
it's not
hold
that-
on. Your conservative party. Your tune's gonna change anyways next year. But I'll ask the other reasonable liberal. Well, how do you feel? Do you feel like it's too many?
I think we are not equipped to handle this many people. We should have immigration to this level because our country is bare, but we do not have the infrastructure to handle this many people.
In Chinda, Mr. PC.
I mean, if you let me speak first, his answer wouldn't seem as cool because I was going to say the exact same thing, that we need immigration.
Now
But-
you just sound like Pierre.
You know, we want the immigration, but we should also be able to accommodate the immigration. We should have the jobs ready for these new immigrants. We should have the health services to accommodate, to provide to these new immigrants. What we're doing is we're bringing in slave labor. And what I mean by that
I agree.
is we're bringing in people who we know that the system can't fully handle, who are going to be forced to live in rental apartments that are overly valued, take on
mean,
menial cash jobs that aren't cracked
nobody
and,
wants to do,
that
yeah.
nobody wants to do, that the government's willing to
we're-
give a blind eye to. So
Giving them a pretty shitty deal, man. Like, we're giving them this promise of this better life. And they're going to come here and pay their dues, however, which way you might think, through hard work, labor, bringing their money over. But I don't think they're going to have the quality or a fraction of the services that we had when we were growing up. Neither will their kids.
You guys,
And it's just because there's too many people. That's all I'm saying. We just can't.
you guys
we're
are
not ready.
applying logic to this, but I just want to at least put a little wrinkle in how you're approaching this. At least when it comes to Punjabi.
this guy wants to throw a wrinkle like that friggin' kurta he's rocking. Keep going.
Don't hate. So, take one Punjabi dude. If you told him to do a job, a 9 to 5 in Punjab, he'd be insulted. You say, "F you! Do you know who my dad is? How much Jameen? How many kids I have?" That same person will come to Canada and gladly work at Tim Hortons because it's in Canada. There's
Okay.
just something.
But their
there's nothing-
intention, but
their
their
intention is to
intention,
come here and make money.
yes,
And here it's
and their-
okay to work.
But
But
their
not
intention
in-
is also not to stay at a Tim Hortons worker. It's just a means to get by, and within a year or two, they want to be doing something else.
So it's not really slave labor. Like that is exactly
The question is,
funnel.
Hold
what
on.
else are they going to do? That's what I'm getting at, right?
But, like-
There's this whole argument now. Oh, you should bring in qualified professionals, X, Y, Z. They're thinking about changing the immigration as well to more skilled labor. I think the student system is a bit unfair. I do think it should be based on whatever degree you have. I think you should be educated before you come here, or have a skill, and you can apply and have a job. But you come here as a student doing a random degree or certificate at a college, getting out, working in the workforce like Amazon or wherever it might be, is okay for now as a student. But is it enough to settle your life and be like, okay, this is it?
But hold on.
That's my
You
question.
raised the bar way too high for people
Why?
coming in.
Well,
That's
like,
way
look,
too high.
Randy
Why
started
have I
talking about
raised
people working at Tim's, right? Tim's is a pretty lofty job. That's why people would work there, because it's better than working in an Indian restaurant who pays you half that price and says, "Hey,
That's for the time, but that's for the time being. That's temporary. No one's working at Tim Hortons or wants to. It's not the high. It's minimum. It's not the highest paying job.
yeah, it's not the
And
goal,
can-
but it's better than what other
For sure.
things-
No, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying when they get here, we don't have enough of those jobs at Tim Hortons. We do have more manufacturing, and obviously, like Ranjit said, slave. You want to call it slave labor? Yeah, I think of it like that. It's just jobs that nobody wants to do. But
I mean, when
people
I say
coming
slave
here
labor,
are not.
For me, when I
Yeah.
say slave labor, it's not even jobs no one wants to do. It's jobs that technically don't even exist legally, right? It's jobs that people are paying under the table and with false promises of, hey, we're going to help expedite your PR later. Here's the cash, just do it. And then,
Yeah, that's a whole nefarious second side to it with the LMIs and all that business. I mean, that's a I don't know if it's a Desi thing, but
I think
Separate. I
it's a
just mean the
big
whole idea of
percentage of the
It's,
group.
the
it's
whole
not
idea
so
of like,
it's not so predatory. By the way, a
yeah,
lot
it's
of
very
times,
predatory. Yeah.
you know, it's not always predatory
Oh, it's not always
because
asking people.
a lot
Yeah.
of times it'll be a student saying, "Hey, uncle, like let me work on you. I know you can't hire me legally
Yeah.
because you're not able to, but I know you have a need. Let me work on cash." Okay, because I know
Why can't the
yes,
guy hire normally?
because like
Because
they
he doesn't
don't
want to
need
pay for it.
they need a full time person, but the student is only allowed to work 20 hours.
No, but why can't they
Be-
get someone who is full time?
No, so they'd rather have someone full time, but the kid will come in and say, "Uncle, hire me instead. I'll work
Okay.
full time on cash," and beg and beg and beg.
Yeah, but once again, he's working against the rules applied. I'm just saying, why can't you go to the general population?
It's not like there's these business owners that are like, "Let's go recruit at Sheridan College," right?
No,
Like,
but
no,
but
no,
for you to think that business owners are not taking advantage of the cash
time
deal,
and
it's an
time and time
advantage to
again,
them.
time and
It's
time
an
again.
advantage. Yeah.
Business owners are saying, "Hey, we have this employee who worked here while they're in school, and they're begging us for a job, and they're willing to do X, Y, Z in order to get it because for whatever reason we can't afford another like full time employee or a
Yeah,
full
but
salary."
that's but that doesn't mean you hire illegally. That's what I'm trying to say, right? That doesn't, it's not like Amazon sitting there. Someone's like, oh, these guys were begging for a job, so we just pay them cash. I mean, if things are done legally, then these business owners have to pay the full thing, full price. Which if they can't afford, that's a business issue. Like the restaurants in itself. Look at the restaurant industry, man. These like they've been taking advantage of this situation for years, right?
Yeah,
Pay people nothing.
restaurants are pretty
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
good for
dirty
that.
business. No, if you have to pay someone a full paying job, not under the books, not then these restaurants. Well, guess what? Their bottom line gets affected. It's not that the restaurant can't run; it's that their profits go down, right? So I don't really feel bad for them. They're
But
doing it
the
from
number of
a
restaurants that shut down during COVID, you kind of understand that people, their margins were restaurant margins were thin. The this
yes. I don't think that the desi margins is that thin, man.
no, this
With
margins pretty good.
samosas are what for a dollar now? What are they? No, more than that. A dollar each? How can
They've
margins
gone
are
to
Samosa
that
dollar
thin?
each
inflation.
now.
That's gonna be like
Inflation too,
CBC's
right?
next documentary, Samosa
And
inflation.
samosa politics. No,
Yeah.
I think there for fine. There might be certain situations like you said, but I think a majority of the businesses that do take in the students and pay them cash or construction or easy labor are taking advantage of the fact that you're getting a cheaper workforce, and hence it helps your bottom line. If you have to pay people full, sure you can go hire. There's people who want jobs, right? But pay someone cash, save money, hire more, right? But I do agree there are certain jobs that people are not going to apply to. For example, the concrete guys that I see working like crazy. And it's going to be hard to find people like that, hard to do concrete businesses. So I don't know. I don't feel as sorry for the businesses, right? I'm not saying that it's not hard on them financially or hard to find labor, but to think that the students being predatory on them,
No, I'm not saying predatory, but it's
but
someone who's going out of their way, begging an employer to hire them and bending the rules to do it,
yeah, but the
imploring them to
employer is
bend
still
the
in the
rules.
power to say no. I mean, no, say no.
Yeah, yeah. There's a I guess a social pressure too, like
Fair
namaya,
enough.
the help hojogi.
Okay, yeah, that's different. There's that. I can agree with that. But I mean, from a strict financial standpoint, I mean, it is an advantage to the business, right?
Yeah.
Pay someone a lower rate, pay them cash.
Or
Nothing else
sometimes
to
it
apply.
averages out to the same point. Like what's minimum wage now, guys? Like $14?
Yeah, something like I don't know.
But
I've never hired anyone.
I'm sure there's a lot of labor rules that they're skirting as well, right? By
14
not.
bucks. Someone's getting paid 10 cash. They save on CPP and all these tax deductions. It comes out to the
Mhm.
same thing for both parties.
I feel like the
Sure.
business comes out with a bit of an edge here.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that. I think the business still wins. You know,
Business should win.
that's such a
And talking about
fucking-
businesses winning,
fucking lawyers.
talking about businesses winning, what's going on with Conservative Party of Canada? You think they can win?
Dude, there's some mystery to me. There's a by-election in Oakville, Mississauga, Lakeshore,
Yeah, Straitsville.
and
Mississauga, Lakeshore,
Mississauga.
Mississauga.
and
Recently,
they lost.
Big.
It's not pretty.
But they
It was
knew they were
not-
going to lose. They were expected to lose that one.
Is that what it was? Is that what it was?
hard-owned liberal riding has been liberal for ages, Pierre saw the writing, didn't make any trips to really help the candidate. Kind of told the candidate, you just take this L for us. We'll get you something come election time. But there's certain writings where you really have no chance. Your polling and everything just shows historically. People in here, they don't think twice. They don't, this is a hard earned liberal riding. They don't switch. They don't vote anything else here. People look at Brampton the same way. They look at Brampton East. They look at some of the Brampton writings. They're like, nope, that's a liberal writing. Ain't no point in really putting too much energy there. Some Vaughan writings are like that.
Does it take the momentum that, because PP does have quite a bit of momentum. So was that like a black eye? Does it like
Did the can- sorry,
rain
I
on,
didn't
rain
catch
on
it.
his parade? Rain on his
Did the
parade,
can-
or
did
is
the
it?
candidate
Is
did
it
he do reasonably well?
No, got smoked.
Okay,
As
sorry.
expected.
Go ahead. Sorry. Okay.
Does it rain on his parade? No, not at all. I think had he been making that riding and that race a big thing, and like really riding it and out in the community and helping him knock doors and all that, kind of showing his presence, and then getting smoked, yeah, that's a black eye. Just kind of letting your candidate take that L solo, I don't think that's a black eye.
I think PP's approach is the one that we should kind of watch for. I think right now in the early on, he's still catering to his base, saying the right things, getting the soldiers riled up. But I think as election time comes, and as every PC candidate before him, he will become more centered, and we will see what his language is like. And if he's not, that'll be the true test. If he stays true, and his messaging is unwavering. And
What's
he
his messaging right now that you think is hard right though?
I think he's more right. I don't think he's center. I think he's just people perceive, maybe he's not direct messaging, but people perceive him to be more on the harder right than center right, if we can say that.
But if you take a look at a lot of his other messaging, like when he talks about housing, when he talks about
He's wrong.
no, but that's the center's message, is it not?
No, saying Bitcoin's a solution is not solution.
But
Half the stuff he's saying is
that
not
was
just,
a bit of an L. That was a bit of an L.
he does.
But he's
does
moved away
make a lot
from-
of
I gotta
mistakes.
agree. I gotta agree with Shinda. He's pretty centered these days as far as like his.
No, these
sound
days. I'm just saying if he's gonna completely shift the tone where it's so careful and calculated and very methodical, making sure they're not, giving away or an inch to let someone think that he possibly is an act. He's starts to be like, this is who he is, and he wins. Okay, fine. But if he sticks to the Pierre show, which is the arrogance that we all hate, except for Shinda, I'm sure the poster's on the other side of the wall. And then I don't know. I think there's a lot of people, liberal, central, that just don't like him. It's not about even his messaging. It's the stuff that happened during the truckers' protest, the things that are said. Those things are with him. And if people hate Trudeau enough, which I think is that's where this is going to end up. It's, do you hate him enough? If you hate him enough, you won't vote, because you're not going to vote NDP or the next Prime Minister of Canada as he thought he was going to be. Yeah.
was so funny.
I think it's generally going to be, do I think the Liberals have it together? And if they don't, all right, give the new guys a shot. I don't think it's going to be a vote of, I love Pierre. So if he doesn't sway too much, if he's not taking L's, whatever you want to call it,
What's going to be interesting to
he
me
has a pretty good shot.
Is the truckers rally, is the COVID stuff, is that still going to be relevant? We already ran an election on that. Trudeau won an election post that, right? The 2021
No, it's
election.
it's just the way he talks about it, because he's unwavering in the way he thinks he's right. That's his problem. He does not know how to calm what he's saying, or he goes back. Like, he just listen. It's the arrogance. If he learns to kind of say, okay, well, we've gone past that. That was a part, and it just starts to sound more moderate. I think even I would vote for him. Like, I'm taking from my perception, but I just think he's still not there yet.
I feel like the hate for Trudeau is pretty tangible. I've seen a lot of Trudeau trucks here and there on.
That's not the hate. Those guys are gonna hate him even if you want the regardless.
No,
if he
so-
never comes back.
but
Those
those
guys are hating. Those are the Pierre boys. All right, Pierre's boys. Those are set.
I don't think there's any like red Tory out there that is so pissed off at Trudeau that they went down
Yeah.
and got the flag.
Yeah, I think it's people like us. Okay, do I think this guy? You know,
I just feel
do I
like
give him a shot? And do I think Trudeau's out to lunch? I mean, that's the election. Has Trudeau finally gone out to lunch? We need some change. My prediction is minority, that the Liberals take it again. I would be shocked if it was a majority Conservative, but if it happens, it could.
We got a couple of
It's
years.
50.
that's
Yeah.
my thing. This is still a few years away. Like we forget that Trudeau just won an election not too long ago. Literally, right? He literally
But
just won an election.
he's put his foot in his. He's had a bunch of screw ups already, so
Has
maybe
he?
they'll start piling
Since
up.
that election? I feel most times we look at the Trudeau screw ups, they've all been pre-election, and he won on them.
You
We're
know what it's
we
going
still
to
haven't
be.
really
I think
moved
it's
on from
He's
going
been
him.
kind of quiet now.
He's been super
it's
quiet
the-
these last year
Well,
and a
it's
half.
it's the sleeping beast that is going to take out any politicians. Like economy, right? If the economy goes to shits and people start losing jobs, he's out. He can say all the kumbaya stuff he wants. People are like, oh fuck this guy, right? Like let's move on. And they're just and Pierre's going to jump on it. Oh, it's because of what Trudeau's doing.
So-
He's put us in this position, right? So it's the sleeping giant that no one's going to talk about until it happens.
Well, let's
Right?
talk about
Recession.
it.
And all.
So let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Are we in a recession?
No, not us. The politicians. I'm saying. Sorry.
Well, no, like, so I'm seeing signs, and one of them was contractors. Not too long ago, their rates were jacked up.
Yep.
You couldn't get them to come in for months,
Mm-hmm.
and now when you need one, they'll say, yeah. We can start in a couple of days. We can start
No,
tomorrow.
they call you back. Hey, are you still interested? Oh, is there anything we could work on? And now I'm laughing. I'm like, so the rate we got for a whole
Quality. Look
a
who's
whole,
here.
wa-
Yeah.
a whole washroom redo. I don't know how much it was a few months ago. I got that quoted for like 12,000. I was like, man, prices have changed. Prices have changed, right?
Yesterday's
so-
price is not today's
It's not
price.
today's price. So yeah, man, the contractors are one. I get it from people, the one-on-one interactions I have every day. Consistent talk about inflation, talking about how grocery prices, selections on their glasses, certain options that are just like, hey, I don't want to spend that.
Swear to God,
Some
how
things,
this?
some things don't change. Some things.
Or expensive internet providers that are just taking the money out, so we can't afford them as much anymore. Options on your glasses, for example, any option. People are looking to just spend it within their insurance. When that starts to become a common conversation, and these guys know I do have an office in a grocery store, and I watch the carts, and they are getting lighter and lighter. And you watch and you see prices, and you're like, it's happening. People don't want to talk about it because there's still this pride and ego business with thinking that you're not in trouble or that you're having any kind of financial worry. But people are definitely thinking about their money, and that's for me an indication things aren't going as well, or they're at least feeling that the pinch is coming. And if interest rates continue or go higher, or recession comes in. If recession comes in, they'll have to eventually fix those interest rates. But I think we're in trouble. Now, that's my feeling. I don't think people are as. It's not so much the economy. I just think they're overextended. It's the extension of these renos, or take things on a credit line, or third, fourth pre-con house booking in Brampton. Those people are in a lot of trouble. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, because I think even during this little break that you had, that was all Robbie's fault. We saw people picketing outside of builders.
Paradise
Builder
Homes.
on Beauvert and 410.
It's not
Paradise
just
Homes.
that one. There's others. There's others.
Oh,
People
is there
are
others? Okay.
yeah. People are protesting.
Well, I mean, there's not people.
Realtors
Remember,
are-
most of them were realtors.
Realtors.
Let's get that out there. So it's those dodgy real estate agents we've been talking about for years.
But all these little tidbits, the contractor thing, I had to get work done. So it was just a hunch that I had that their work is light, and sure enough, everybody was returning my calls with competitive rates and ready to work very quickly, even throughout Christmas. So that was a big
Randy's working them on Christmas. You'd definitely pay them cash. He's got one of those teams.
Well, look, what are big expensive drives or expensive purchases? It's houses, cars, renovations, right? These big capex expenses.
Mhm.
And once those start going down, then you start thinking, oh shit, like there's an actual slowdown. Never mind, like the grocery things, I think is more inflation than anything else. The price of
It
groceries.
is, but if people can't afford a 6% increase or 5% or 10% at the grocery store, it's not that they're complaining about it, that they're
No one's gonna.
constantly.
No one's. There's a Punjabi say there's koi bhukha nahi marda, right? Like no one's gonna starve to death here, but
Yeah, but you're gonna talk about if you're not eating kheer every night, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Like they're not eating as well, so now it's, well, we got to manage what we buy, and that in itself, that little bit of management is like it's taking away a bit of freedom. Yeah, that is for people. I was freely spending, bought whatever the hell I wanted, and now I'm forced to budget, and it's very uncomfortable for people. But when that starts happening, I'm just saying when it becomes more and more of the conversation, I think we're already there. We're not talking about it.
we're at a recession. We just haven't called it.
Maybe
mean,
not a recession. I mean, what do you need two cycles of
two consecutive
down to whatever,
things that
yeah,
GDP
whatever it
being
is. Yeah.
negative or
I think
declining
mentally
growth.
I think mentally where the population's there.
New Year's Eve, sorry, Christmas Eve, Square One was dead. Dead.
Yeah.
Boxing Day was busy, but
Huh.
That was
Christmas
actually
Eve
a
was
funny
dead.
one because even on Boxing Day, no, Christmas Eve, my wife went out. I was like, dude, you're insane. Where are you going? And she's like, well, we need to grab these two little things before they're shut down tomorrow. I was like, all right, you're on your own. It was nice knowing you. I'll make sure the kids remember you. Um, and she's like, yeah, no one's here. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, I'm walking through Walmart. It's empty. I was like, it's Christmas Eve. What do you mean it's empty? Like, it feels like a zombie movie right now. It's kind of eerie. Like, it's kind of nice just having this whole store to myself. I was like,
all was quiet.
It's interesting, yeah.
and this is one of those ones because I went to this Walmart actually, I think she went to a different one not too far from it, but it's generally in the same population. And one year I went to it, I was like ready to like, oh my God, I don't think I'm ever making it out alive. It's just, everyone's just killing each other. Everyone's just ripping things off racks. I just don't understand this chaos. Don't you guys have somewhere to be tomorrow morning? Like, what's going on? And then Boxing Day, same thing. She's like, oh, I got to go to Costco. I was like, dude, are you insane? Like, what do you mean? I'm like,
And
it's
it's like I
Boxing
didn't get
Day.
my Christmas wish. Maybe it'll happen on Boxing Day.
I'm like, it's
Maybe she'll
Boxing.
leave forever.
I was like, dude, it's Boxing Day. Costco is going to be double like packed than what it normally is. Like, yeah, Costco's Costco. It's not going to be any more around. She's like, yeah, it's fine. It's empty here again. I was like, what the hell do you mean it's empty? I don't understand. But so
That disposable cash, man, it's not there.
No, that's the key, right? Or at least you're thinking about it. And if you start thinking about it, you don't spend money. If you don't spend money, the economy suffers, the retail sector will suffer. And then it cascades, right? That's what I'm trying to say. It's the psychology. It has to begin with the psychology, right? So
Great time to start a business.
yeah, one that caters to
expendable cash.
yeah, no, tight pockets and getting value for what you pay for. I think that's the key thing there. Service with a smile.
Ryan's just like, if any banks need a help on a foreclosure, I'm here.
Dude, first of all, yes. And then second of all, like now I see them on my Twitter timeline quite a bit. A bit power sales happening. Dude.
So I mean how fucked are these guys? These guys who booked pre-cons. They've dropped 300,000 in value. Some of them have like two. So what's the process? My question to you from a legal standpoint, what if they can't pay? Then what happens next? Like they bankrupt, they're done. The builder's not getting the money. So did the builder try to sell the house now?
Yeah. The builder is going to try to sell the house or the condo to someone else.
And that's at a market rate essentially.
At the current market rate.
Wow.
And then look, if the person that originally bought the pre-con is bankrupt, like, so that means the builder's already gone through the process. The builder can't go through any process to recover from them. Okay, so there's a delta there that the builder has a loss on. Well, that's going to slow down construction. That's going to slow down everything. And again, that just fuels the fucking recession.
Are deltas tax deductible?
Capital losses are.
Yeah, so that would count as a capital loss, no? Overall on the builder's sale.
But don't they retain the deposit? They're not losing the deposit. The deposit's there.
Yeah, they got the deposit.
So they have the deposit. They sell it at market value. They're still in the green, aren't they?
No.
The
Let's
deposit
say
like 200, but the deposit like 200K, isn't it?
no,
It's
no.
fallen by.
Like I don't think they're taking
It's
a
how
loss
much-
on the
it's-
build.
Wait. Hang on 1 second, guys.
Oh no, closing costs. Sorry, I forgot about
You
that.
guys are a bit off. Let's say
He basically said we're stupid. I don't just
let's say fucking $1
Fucking
million condo, and they are taking 10% in deposits, and the other 10%. Originally, they agreed to 10%, 10-50% due, in the first 24 months, and the final 5% is due on closing. Okay,
Okay.
plus the rest of the purchase price. Okay, but if somebody signed up for a project in late 2021 or throughout 2022, they've paid about 100K in deposits, but it's $1 million condo. So now they're like, fuck, I can't afford this place anymore. Closing is coming up next year. I'm not going to sink any more cash into this. I'm walking away.
Mm.
Okay. So they're gone. $100,000 on the table. The builder will take that. But in order to make a profit on it, they need to earn at least they need at least 700-800K. Actually, it should be a lot higher. Let's say 900. Okay, they're not
No,
making
wait,
three.
you're saying the
4,000.
margin on a condo like or on a house from the builder's side is only 100K?
It has to be more than that, Ranji.
Let's say 200 max.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so I said 700 originally. They have 100,000 in hand, and they have a delta of 600K. But the property, they have to find another buyer who will step into the shoes and pay that same $1 million price. Who's going to do that now? No one can get financing.
But what if
They're
they
gonna
sell
sell
for
for market.
750?
So if they sell it for market, if they sell it for 750, but if the market drops below that and they don't get that, and we might be approaching that space now where they're not getting even market, or at least they're break even with keeping a deposit.
So
And
I don't think that's real. I don't think that's true. So
we could easily be there.
because look, from a builder's perspective, the builder didn't just buy this land at premium market rate. They've held these lots for the last 15 years, and they got them at
No.
say.
That's not how it happens anymore. Actually, what will end up happening quite often is, yes, you do have some traditional builders that will have, sat on land for many years and then got his zoning, got everything approved, and start building it up. Great. There's a lot of builders, smaller builders, that don't have that, and you didn't have that capital back then, but they're in that space now. They'll go to some developer, say, look, hey, you're sitting on this land, you've got it approved, we'll pay you the premium for it, but we want to start building there now. And sometimes, somebody's too spread out, and they'll just take that quick buck and say, fine, we'll sell you the pre-approved land for, a 20-story building at a premium, and they'll get rid of the land, and those people are stuck. Those builders are stuck.
So it's the small builders that get faded, not the big builders who've.
Small builders
I think
screw up
the-
all the time.
I think the
build-
big builders can absorb the hit, is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, but there's a lot of small builders in the market. There's a lot now.
I mean, that what I didn't. What you said before was, you said everything slows down, construction slows down. It's a cascading effect. I mean, that's going to happen everywhere. But I never think of it like that. Developments are going to stop. Builders will have cash flow.
I've been doing a lot of CPDs. Lawyers have to do a continuing education.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I was listening to one
you
talk.
guys actually learn, eh?
Yeah, I was listening to one talk by a big builder, a very big builder in Ontario, and admitting, that sales have slowed, pre-con sales have slowed. And now you think about it, if this one builder is building 4 towers on a plot of land, okay, they generally build up one tower, start selling the next one, build that one up a bit, start selling the next one. Well,
Yeah.
that's all going to slow down now because they can't even sell out the first one.
I mean, the essential problem is no one's getting a mortgage as well. Isn't that one of the biggest?
That's it.
I mean, Shinda, you might have some more insight on that, but
I mean, we stopped giving away free mortgages is what happened.
yeah, and now no one's being approved, right? That's so that automatically is another driver on price.
And that's now affecting car dealerships because now used car sales are too unaffordable.
Yep.
A used car at 6%.
New car at 8%, brother. Lease rates are 8.9 for some companies.
Yeah.
You know?
So, but
It's-
there's this interesting Twitter account. He's a used car salesman who's like fully transparent on his pricing and margins. Really fun guy to follow because he like breaks down the entire business really transparently, and it's like a cool insight into the business. And he's just like, yeah. But he was saying he's like, new car sales are still going to continue to be sold at what they were sold. He's like, sure, they don't run out as fast, but he's like, they were always selling them and making a big, decent profit on them. He's like, the used car sales business that a lot of dealerships adopted, that's going to slow down. You're not going to get the same trade-in value no more. That's going to encourage the new car
fair
price. But he's like, the leases and that stuff, that's going to continue. That's going to be.
I was reading
What it
the
is.
one the Twitter feed on I think it's the auto car sales guy. I forgot what
Yeah.
it was.
The guy,
Same
yeah,
thing
yeah.
he was, that guy. You know, it's the same thing he was saying about the lending. That the lending is being affected because now there's no lending going on from the car companies. It's not profitable. So it's
Yeah.
hard to get a car loan. Therefore, it's going to drive certain prices. Like I'm telling you, man, the world's all messed up. Hello, I'm telling you, everywhere you look, something's happening, right?
On the
So-
Hilia Hoya thing, someone had a great tweet that I read. He's like, imagine being born in 1900. You're born 1900.
Hmm.
You get hit with World War
World
One.
Wars.
Now you
World War
survive
Two.
World War One. You get the Great Depression.
The Great Depression.
You get
World
World
War
War
Two.
Two. Then you get the Spanish flu. You survive the Spanish flu. You get the Korean War. You survive the Korean War. You get Vietnam. And they're like, by the 1980s, anyone who was an 85-year-old in 1980, the amount of things they survived to get to being 80 years old at that point, they beat all odds. Only to hear their
Yeah.
kids bitch
But
and
ha-
complain.
have you met some of these people? They're tough as nails, man. They don't complain. They get to it. It's the 60 to 70-year-olds that got it pretty easy.
But every generation, we think that compared to what our kids
Come on,
do.
man. Listen, our parents' generation compared to the generation before them that went through 2 world wars, lots of geopolitics. I think they had a more stable life. We can say that. Boomers have had it pretty easy, right?
The
It's one of
boomers have had it pretty
generations-
good.
Yeah, I'm not saying a bad thing. I'm just saying they lived a prosperous life. That's something to
they
be
could like
celebrated.
walk into a place and just get a job just for being there.
Exactly. Right. So, I mean, to say that's not, they're going to say, oh, their parents' lives, they can't look back and say, oh, our parents' lives are easier. No, not a chance.
I mean, the
We're the
boomers didn't have to
generation that
compete
can-
against ChatGPT, AI, and that's going to be the real test. The number of people
They're
competing
just-
for AI.
yeah,
for
man.
their
It's just,
jobs.
so I think the boomers got it pretty easy, man. I wish I was a boomer. That would have been a great life.
They're doing a good life.
And
One of these uncles with 30 properties, we chill.
you know what the best thing about when I think about boomers though is when I think about how little life costs them. They got $200,000 houses while working $60,000 jobs.
200, man. That's in the 2000s. Let's say you bought a house in I don't know, 79. Yeah, you're laughing.
But
Right.
they didn't keep
Your
those
house
houses.
is-
They kept moving on up.
They keep rotating it, right? Your first house, I mean, I have good family friends. They bought in at that 200,000 mark and kept selling at every increase, and now they're living in like a 4,000 square foot house. Which, when you look at how much they've made, they're still at that original mortgage. Like that's all they've
Yeah.
ever put in.
Not
Compared to
bad.
us who have to go into that house. Yeah, I think that's not a bad life. Not a bad life. I think they.
Brad just has such a
like-
look of disgust on his face right now. It's kind of interesting. Or is it just envy? I don't know.
A little bit envy, yeah. But
I'm
that
envious.
generation also was paying interest at like 9-10%.
Who cares? I don't care. Had it easier, okay?
You're like 10% interest on a $200,000 house. Give me that $200,000 house.
Also, life was easier. Your family didn't have 5 cell phones. You didn't have to worry about internet connection.
The
There's only
public
one
school
car in the
system was
family.
trustworthy.
Yeah, there's car insurance was probably at a reasonable rate. Let's keep going. I mean, we could keep grocery was probably at a decent price. Yeah, sure. Life was harder in terms of overall finances, but maybe life was easier, right? That's what my dad says. He says, yeah, it wasn't great financially, but it wasn't as complicated. Life is pretty complicated now, right?
They're like the hardest thing we had to work was a VCR, and even that we just put the tape in and told you to come fix.
Yeah, if that, think about it. They had tape decks for how long? 79, 78, and was that right? Records probably.
Yeah, tape decks
Yeah.
took over in the 80s.
And then CDs came out in maybe 94, 95, let's
90
say.
yeah,
That's
94.
when they become prevalent in eachbody's home. You had the Kenwood CD changer, and it became a normative thing. So that's 10 years of the same audio technology. We haven't had that.
Yeah, we had.
No, we have not. We went from mini disc to MP3 to phones to streaming to. It's just
No, but
always.
now we're on like
Now we're on streaming services in the last 3 years. It's changed. iTunes were the rage a few years ago. You bought all your iTunes.
But now we have to
You
pay a
know,
subscription fee.
Subscription, like it just keeps changing, right? So you had that level of consistency in their lives. I don't think we get, right? So yeah, it must have been a cool time to live. That's what I'm saying. I think it would have been a cool time to live.
Being a parent in the 90s seems a lot more
Yeah,
chill than
As a
being a
guy, you
parent
don't
in
have to
the
worry about what you
ladies.
said.
Robbie filling in that angry old guy stereotype so well.
I love it, man.
Quickly moving on, talking about angry old guys. You guys read Skip Bayless's tweet towards Dan Hamlin and like the NFL injury?
Yeah, just idiotic.
I didn't. Can I have context?
So,
The unfortunate NFL player collided with another player, essentially went to cardiac arrest. Correct me if I'm wrong. They were trying to resuscitate him, CPR, so on and so forth. 10-minute delay. Ambulance came, took him away. The
more than 10
NFL,
minutes. It was like about 20
more
minutes.
than 10 minutes. Sorry, my apologies. The NFL decided, well, this game should be played still. The coaches come together, make an agreement not to play, out of respect and obviously traumatic for their respective teammates. Skip Bayless comes on saying he doesn't understand why the game was canceled and they should play because it's an important game in the NFL schedule.
To Skip Bayless's defense, I'm gonna come to his defense.
Oh God,
right?
God, here we go.
Yeah,
Let PP, let your inner PP out.
All right, I gotta pull up. I don't want to mince words. I think it's fair that we.
there's a lot of like playoff implications on that game. I didn't know what he did, but I know what happened.
The guy basically,
Hold on.
was getting CPR on the field.
No.
Traumatic to the players. How are you going to ask your players to go back on the field and play a game of football?
I want to be clear. I'm not saying they should play.
No,
But
listen.
It cannot be. It cannot be like this game can be canceled is not a big deal. Like it's an afterthought. That
For sure. You're the NFL. Schedule another game and somewhere. You can do it. If it was a snowstorm, they cancel games. Come on. They cancel games. Games have been canceled and they've rescheduled them. Who cares about the implications?
Here's
Right, but-
Skip Bayless's tweet. Let's get the right wording in his voice. I can't really impersonate him, but he said, I quote, "No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly all seems so irrelevant."
Give him a tie. Move on. Who gives a shit? Like, I mean,
He's basically saying
but, okay,
this is a big ass game. It's really hard to.
Let's do the other way. Let's say he dies on the field. Do they just take his body and say, "Game on, boys"? Or is it traumatic enough for you to say, "Well, yeah"?
Is it kind of like a
probably
flight
shouldn't be
where if
played.
someone dies on the flight, you touch down at the nearest thing, or do you continue the flight to the destination? And
Good question.
You know what I
Look
mean?
at Ranji. Ranji needs to get to India.
Ranji like that analogy.
Ranji's like, I paid for a direct flight. A direct means I go straight there.
So what they actually do, by the way, is if people don't notice and it's not a commotion, they will actually just put a rajai on the person, put him in the back chair at the very back, and keep flying.
How do they get the prisoners? I figured they just leave them in the seat that they're in. I feel it.
If they can get away with it, either like they'll pretend like, oh, they're just like a little knocked out or whatever, and they're helping them to the back. They'll keep them in like the galley. There's in some planes there's crew rest, like beds for the crew. They'll keep them there. They'll keep them out of sight if they can, essentially.
Let's not disturb these first class passengers.
Well, yeah. I mean, he passed away, or he or she passed away already. So damage is done.
But medical emergency, they will try to deviate.
Yeah, medical emergencies. Yeah.
They're not going to let someone die, right? So,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Skip. It's not if Skip was right or wrong. He should just know better. I mean, his whole shtick is that this is who he is, right? He says stupid shit, but I think he wasn't he praising LeBron on his broadcast. He hates LeBron too, and I guess he's really shook at all the negativity he's gotten, and he's a LeBron fan.
Let me get the LeBron fans on my side.
Yeah, he's just whatever. I mean,
I feel like in certain situations though, there's because he didn't say anything bad, like what he was saying was this is a big game for the NFL. This is a magnitude game.
And had a delay.
No, and in the end, he said all that doesn't matter compared to what's going on the field right now. He ended it. His tweet.
Did he say that? Did he say that in the tweet?
Yeah.
What does
At
he
the
say?
end, he's like, he builds up how big of a game this means to the NFL. Why the NFL may want to continue running the game, and he ends it ...
But there's no need. But the whole point is, as a person of position in his industry, in the he doesn't need to do that.
No, but
he
then
doesn't need to put
ends
the
it
question
saying,
out there.
No, but then
he just be like, "Yo, I hope that prayers to that player." Did he mention the player's name?
Yeah, all throughout he had 5 tweets. This was his 5th tweet. The first 3 tweets were
no, the first one.
Yeah,
was the first one. Okay.
No, this was the first one was not exactly sure what happened to Damar Hamlin. Players on both teams are shaking ambulance out on the field. CPR administered. Can't remember play being stopped for this length of time. Just said a prayer for him and his family. That was tweet number
That's
one.
all you have to put. You didn't have to tweet anything else. Done.
Tweet number 2 was, I've seen so many horrific injuries suffered on football fields, yet have never seen a reaction like this. In every other situation I witnessed or covered, the game always went on fairly quickly. The attitude was, hey, that's football. For these players, this was different. That was the second tweet, commenting on what's going on the field and
So what you're saying is basically we didn't read his whole thread. We just kind of jumped on the one tweet.
His third tweet of probably like 10 minutes later was, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to regular season outcome, let alone what the betting implications for fantasy and all that are.
The other thing, Vegas, it screws a lot of things up. Like fantasy football, this is championship week. This was championship week in fantasy football. Screws that up.
Are we just saying that they can't replay this game? Like, correct me if I'm wrong.
The current schedule does not allow it because it will have a trickle effect leading into Super Bowl.
Into the playoffs.
So the question is, do you push Super Bowl a week? It could even mean that.
No, and
why
so
not?
Because the rest week is gone, right? In between the end of playoffs and Super Bowl.
And no, but
Let's
look,
do it during the week of the Pro Bowl. No one cares about the Pro Bowl anyway.
yeah, the Pro Bowl is meaningless. No, all I'm saying, but then how do you?
The injuries, right? Injuries that at one extra week of the team going into Super Bowl, they'll lose that rest.
Yeah, but look,
I'm
Skip
sure
Bayless.
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
But Skip
what
Bayless,
I'm
he
saying.
poses the question of how big of what's this mean to the NFL, and then he said, in the end, does it even matter?
Do you think it was insensitive for the NFL to say play on?
No, but the NFL has come out and said we never said that.
The referees weren't the referees ready to start the game again?
5-minute warm up.
The NFL kind of threw the broadcasters under the bus because the broadcasters were saying we're hearing from the NFL and players that there's a 5-minute warm up. The NFL came in.
Spider-Man scenario. Let's point at everybody.
The NFL came out and said we never considered it. We don't know what this story
There's
is.
something else to consider as well in all this. They haven't decided how they're gonna deal with this game. What if they force one of the teams to accept a forfeit?
Why not? You can't. Can you do ties? Can you do half points?
You could have a
Just
tie.
give half point, equal the points out, and that's it. And if it has a huge implication, it'll be dealt with in wild card.
But there's so many ways that this could go wrong. Even with dealing with it, there's balancing out the playoff implications because the tie would also impact the playoff implications. Okay. Then the other is, if they force a forfeit on one of the teams, like for example the Bills, who are if they win are looking at a bye. If they don't get the win and they have a loss or have to take a forfeit, then they're going through a gauntlet of like tough teams to get through to the final round.
Yo, you know what they should have done? They should have just done an overtime the next day. Not a full game. Huh?
The game was in the
just so no injuries, no risk, just a short quarter, get it done.
No matter what that result will have an asterisk on it.
Fair enough, but then the other solution is a full game the next day.
So there's no clean solution. Someone's gonna be pissed. That's all I'm getting.
Basically, the NFL is put in a situation where they really don't have any precedents for, and now they're gonna have to build out some precedents for this situation going forward.
I mean, that's always the NFL, right? That's always there. Well, we never dealt with anything like this before, so
but that's the world, isn't it?
We'll make adjustments. We'll make the required adjustments. That's always the
isn't that
that's always
world?
the line.
Concussions.
Concussions. They don't exist. Oh well, yes. We'll have a protocol in place now too. Yeah, you've had 30 years. You've seen guys getting knocked out, and no one had a concussion.
Yo, someone raised this point to me that football
has more concussions. Yeah,
has more concussions than the NFL. Is that true?
Soccer has a lot.
I know kids soccer. When kids are they get a lot of concussions in soccer as well. But I mean, it's everywhere. Who's actually quantifying this to say what has more, right? So
I mean, I'm sure there's data that backs up that statement.
I don't
I
think
wouldn't- I
smaller.
wouldn't-
I know.
I
I don't think. I don't think smaller leagues. I mean, remember when you talk soccer, you're talking about the entire world, right? So, are we talking about just MLS versus NFL? Are we? I mean, I don't think that data is being tabulated on all levels of play, right? So, NFL probably has more. I mean, it might be subclinical ones, so we don't see it. I mean, how do you
I mean,
quantify something that's so misunderstood, even in the medical field? You can say someone has it, but
so what you're saying is
if there's-
doctors really don't know everything.
I can say that 100%. There's just some diagnosis that
I told you that these guys had no idea what was going on with the vax.
I'm not a
have
doctor.
proof.
I'm not.
I
I'm
sat-
not a doctor.
Listen,
I'm not a doctor.
The other day, I sat on a podcast with a well-renowned doctor who made it clear that even doctors don't know what's going on with Corona.
You're doing side shows?
You got another show?
What?
You just said you were on a podcast with a world-renowned
Yeah.
doctor. Who's that doctor?
You right here, this today.
I'm not a doctor.
Do you not put DR in front of your name when you think? Have you not
No, I'm
reversed
just-
diabetes?
I'm just Robbie,
Dr. Rob.
like Dr.
Alright.
Nick on The Simpsons. Hi, everybody.
All right. Well, I had dinner with quite the podiatrist the other day, and he just convinced me that erectile dysfunctions are really affecting the male population.
Are you really doing this?
Yeah. So
Going down that road. He's so proud of that, eh?
I'm so proud of the people I told with that one. That one was epic. But yeah, man, it was fun catching up with you guys. We fucking talked for an hour, 20 minutes. I hope people still remember that we did a podcast and continue to listen. If they don't, that was nice. Thank you for the time that you spent with us. And if you're just joining us for the first time, my name is Singh. That other guy in the pink kurta, that is Ranjit. And
Mr. Galab.
the podiatrist, not so podiatrist, who's told me Corona is fake, is Dr. Rob.
I love Pete.
If you compliment a girl on her eyes as an optometrist, is that like a really good compliment? Like, I see 1,000,001 eyes a day, but yours are the best ones I've seen so far.
I'm pretty sure that's a sexual harassment case right there.
Well, not if you were a boomer.
Yeah.
True. You can get away with anything.
All right, man. On that note, we didn't even talk about Elon taking over Twitter, but till next time.
Till next time.
On the Much Ado About Nothing, man. Take it easy, guys.
Peace.
Peace.